Hi, my name is Gretchen Howard, and I'm a partner at Google Capital. Today I'm visiting the offices of Credit Karma, one of Google Capital's portfolio companies. I'm going to be speaking to Ryan Graciano, CTO of Credit Karma. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Gretchen. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having this chat with me. So we're going to start at the beginning. Tell me where you came from, how you got started. Tell me your life history.
Sure. So I went to school in Atlanta, and after graduating, it was like early 2000s. The startup thing was really starting to catch on. At the time, I was interviewing with all these big companies like IBM and Microsoft, and I went to work for this little company that was immediately acquired by IBM. So I was one person in 330,000, and I was feeling like I could have a bigger impact. So, I used to go jogging with a friend every day, and I would complain that, I really want to do something that really impacts people's lives more directly on a bigger scale. And he's like, hey, I know this guy, his name is Ken, he's got this great idea, it's like exactly what you want. And that's how I met Ken, and we started everything at Credit Karma.
Can you tell me a little bit about, how you even tackled building out Credit Karma?
Yeah, so it was kind of one piece at a time. It's not something where we had this huge idea of exactly what the technology was going to look like or the business. In the start, we just had this thing that we wanted to build, this problem that we wanted to solve. And as we started exploring it, we discovered, well, the data is the way that we're going to get there. Looking at what all of our customers are and what they want to be is how we're going to reach that next goal. So I would say it was kind of like one little bit at a time. It was much more of a marathon than a sprint.
And is it true that you actually coded most of it from a rocking chair in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it is true. So I started like a typical 9 to 5, and then 5 would turn into 8, and then 8 would turn into like 3, and then my whole schedule would shift. So I was literally in a chair most of the day.
Rocking chair?
It was a rocking chair. I didn't like the desk that much. I like to move and be active, and the desk was, for that long a period of time, it was too still.
So that's your advice for budding entrepreneurs out there, try the rocking chair. It's, good for product development.
Whatever works for you. We had to build our own hardware, we had our own operating systems, we had systems people, systems security people. It was very much pre-cloud.
Right.
So it's 2015 now, and the economies of scale are a little bit different. What we're doing is a little bit different. What we need to do in terms of agility is just not the same as it was. And so we reached out to Google Capital and said, hey, help us navigate this. It was actually pretty awesome because they connected us right with the head of cloud at Google, and then they connected us directly to the Google data team, and they said, hey, here's exactly how we think about cloud, which is a level of access that I can't normally get. I don't have the bat phone to somebody in Google normally. So when we were sitting down to compose all these spreadsheets and figure out how we're going to do things, it was pretty amazing to actually just have someone saying this is what it's going to look like. In 2 years, this is how cloud is going to look, so use this as your basis. That was invaluable. Much of building your company is about how do you recruit, how do you retain, how do you incent, how do you make your workplace a place that people love, and it is a huge distraction from what you need to be doing. So that's where I think that Google Capital really becomes useful. You can just reach out and say hey, we have all of these different things that we need to figure out. We need to figure out office space. We need to figure out hiring and retention and operations and management. There's just a lot of stuff, and it's non-trivial stuff. So it's helpful to go to somebody and say can you just tell me how you think about this thing? Or I'm thinking about it in this way. How do I implement it? And that is super valuable for us.
Ryan, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten from an entrepreneur?
One really good piece of advice I got was on how you make the transition from being an early CTO to more of a late stage CTO when your job is just very different, and how do you figure out how to spend your time. And what he said was, you should spend your time on only the things that only you can do. And anything that somebody else could do, even if you feel like you could do that better, you should figure out a way to find someone to own that piece of your business, because otherwise you're just spending time on things that maybe aren't super valuable. And it's easy to fall into this rabbit hole of well, I love to code, so I'm going to spend a lot of time coding, when really your team needs you to pay more attention to some of those operational things.
Ryan, thanks for talking with me today.
Thanks very much, Gretchen.
Absolutely.